bonjour, bienvenue, hello, and welcome. Again, this time I have not been here for some time. We have been very, very, very busy. We have. And anyway, I am here today and I have for you a new book, a new writer, a whole new country. We have not done any books from this country yet, and so that is very, very exciting. We all talked about this, and we were wondering who would get the big country, Russia. Who will get the Russian books, because the Russian books are some of them are 19th century, some of them are 20th century, and nobody wanted to have to wear the dress up here. The dress up here is also 19th century. So I say I take the Russian books. So some of the Russian books will be a little bit earlier than most of my other books, and some of the Russian books will be a little bit later from some of my usual books. So it's a little bit overlapping. But nobody want to wear a dress up to here. Stupid Victorian. Stupid Victorian. Anyway, before we start, I need to talk to you about another book. This book to help you with your writings. And it is very, very useful. It is very useful to help you with your writings. And also to help you with your writings is these template things that will help you with your writings. So these two things are available now. If you go down to the website, it is in the linkies. So what is the books that we are doing this time? Well, this is a very, very good book. This is one of the very, very rare books that I have actually read more than one time. I have read this book 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That book is The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. This book. Now, this book is a very, very strange book. It is a Russian book, so it automatically is going to be very strange. I have read a lot of Russian books, all of them in translation, because I do not read the Russian. No shame. I read all my foreign books in translation. So, you do not need to read in the original. There's a difference between reading a book in the original when it is your language, and in the original when you are sitting there with a dictionary and having to pick your way through. It is not such a special experience. It is much better to have a very good translation to read. And that is what I read when I read books that are in a language that I do not speak or understand. So, no problem with reading it in translation. So, The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. Russian names are so much fun to say. They are so much fun to say, especially when you get the double-barreled, where they have the forename and the patron name, and then the family name, and the patron names are always great fun to say. So, Mikhail Bulgakov was a writer in Russia during the early part of the 20th century. He died in 1940, not very old, but a lot of people, they were... they die early in that time of Russia. He was originally from the Ukraine, and he wrote books during the early part of the revolution. So I found not strangers to revolution and the disruption that occurs after a revolution. So watching this from France, it is not so terribly surprising that the revolution also descended into violent chaos. It seems to be the Weather Revolution, Japan. So. Anyway, he is writing most of his books under Stalin. So under a very dangerous period, he burns the original manuscript of this book. This book is it is written in the 1930s. It is not published until the 1960s in a censored form under originally under Khrushchev, where this store happened under the Khrushchev regime, but then it actually managed to come out with which was quite a surprise under Brezhnev, and Brezhnev had closed it down again after the slight thaw with Khrushchev. But it did not finally come out in a uncensored form until the 1970s in Russia, and it is apparently our absolute favorite book of the Russian people. It is a massively popular book in Russia. There is a TV series in Russian that I think that you can find bits and pieces of on YouTube. It is kind of low budgety looking, and but it is there, which gives an indication of how popular this book is. This book goes from book that is banned and burned by the author burns the original manuscript because it was très dangerous. It's très dangerous to say such things. To being a massively popular and beloved book in Russia. So it is a very interesting book. I will not go into the whole synopsis. It was at least 10 years ago when I last read it. So although I know this book, having read it multiple times, it is a while since I read it last. And there are so many, I do not make a habit of reading books too many times parce que there are so many other books in the world that going backwards feels like, oh, but I have other books to read, so I may not read it again, but I certainly wanted to bring it to you to start out our Russian writers. I have lots of Russian writers for you, so don't worry. Anyway, I'm not going to give you a synopsis. Synopsis is not really what we do here anyway. What happens is it is a satire on the Soviet state. The book is a satire of the Soviet state. It is a satire of Moscow under Stalin and Moscow of the purges. Now, if you do not know any Russian history, the purges of the 30s were truly, très horrible. So awful. There is a book, if you want to understand about the purges and the political situation in Russia in the 1930s, and I would recommend this book, which is Stalin, The Court of the Red Tsar by Simon Sebag Montefiore. It is a très thick, très good history of Stalin and that period in Russian history. I would also, if you want to see we dropped a book. If you also want to see a quicker understanding of what this world was like, the paranoia, the chaos of this world, and the danger of this world, there is a très bon Russian film. It was made in the early 90s, so after the fall of the communist government, but before a lot of the clampdowns, there was a brief period of more liberality. And this film comes from then. It is called Burnt by the Sun. And it is a story of a general who finds himself on the wrong side of the secret police. It is a très, très, très powerful, moving, disturbing film. It is a true story. This truly happened to this general. So these things, it does help to understand the Master and Margarita, to have a certain level of background in this world of the Soviet Union, of Moscow, parce que the book is set there and is satirizing this, so therefore it does make sense to know this. But in the book, it is très surreal, très carnival-esque. In this book, the devil, who is not named as the devil, so it is very clear who he is, because he comes and he has a cane with a poodle head on it, which sounds a very obscure reference until you realize that he is the Mephistopheles of Faust, from Berlioz's Faust. There is actually a character called Berlioz who loses his head. So you know very, very quickly this is the devil, and he turns up with his strange, raggedy companions, including a very large cat, black cat. The black cat is one of my favorite characters. And he and his companions create chaos in Moscow, among the Moscow elite. And the people vanish, and people die, and people, all sorts of things, crazy things happen. And the people just, they accept. It is a commentary on the craziness that happens where, your neighbor down the road disappear, but you do not mention, you just pretend they never exist. This is a crazy world that has writers banned for things that I say. Much of the writing from this period is so turgid because it is all the propaganda, it is all the officially allowed things, and therefore it is all pretty much boring, because if you say the wrong thing, you can vanish. This is what happened to the Soviet composer Dmitri Shostakovich, who wrote an opera, Lady Macbeth of Madzinsk, that apparently Stalin went to see and did not like, and then wrote out a dismissal of it, and Shostakovich got arrested and interrogated, and then was sent home and packed his bag and was sure he was going to be arrested. Unfortunately for him, the man who interrogated him was purged over the weekend, and Shostakovich had a bit of a space to be able to write something to redeem himself, which he did, but he was always on a knife edge of being cancelled. He died very young. He died much younger than he should have. He was scared to death. Mais that is the world of the Master and Margarita. It is, the world itself is surreal, so the book is surreal. The book is also, as if this was not interesting enough, the book also has extras of the master who we do not meet till halfway through the novel. We do not meet Master and Margarita till halfway through the novel, first half of the novel. We see the devil creating chaos in Moscow. So and these novels that the master had written about Pontius Pilate and the trial of Jesus. It is a very, very strange book. You just there is no point me telling you what it is about exactly, because you really have to just watch it. Read it, watch it all unfold, because it would not make any sort of sense. It has an internal sense, but externally try to explain this book is it make no sense. And the Margarita is the lover of the master. It has a really très beautiful love story between the master and the Margarita. And this all does come together in the end, but it is a very, very strange book. It is about a great many things. Mostly it is about much as the best of Shostakovich's music is about the triumph of the human over intolerable circumstance. So is this importance of integrity, the importance of love, the importance of not forgetting what it is to be a human being, even in chaotic and surreal circumstance. And the best of all things is the black cat. The black cat called Behemoth has a shootout with the police in the apartment, and he drinks benzene and shoots the police with a Browning pistol. Yes, it is worth it just for that alone. It is worth it just for the cat having a shootout with the police in drinking benzene from a stove. It's the silliest, strangest, most wonderful book. I think that this is a great book if you have not read any Russian things. Russian things have a tendency to be très fort, très heavy. This one is less heavy. It is lighter. It is very funny. It is very satirical. Again, it does help to understand the history, so that you understand what it is satirizing. But that is the first of our Russian novels, The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I will see you again with another novel. Until then, au revoir. I hope you have good readings.
If you would like to support this channel, come across to the Black Cockie Press website, www.blackcockiepress.com.au, where you will find books and other writing services to help with your writing.